Much for joining me today on day 58 of the income stream. Big welcome to all the new viewers today. My name is Pat Flynn, here to help you make more money, save more time, and help more people too. I help entrepreneurs problem solve, taking these really complicated things, making them easier to understand. And today in particular, we're going to talk about websites specifically. Whether you're just starting out with your website or you have a website already, I'm going to go over the top 5 biggest mistakes that people are making with their website. We're going to start off with some chat with the crew here. Welcome, Quaranteam. Thank you so much for being here. And again, let's have some fun. Here we go.
This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream, all while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
All right, let's do this. We're gonna have a lot of fun today. First of all, big welcome to everybody who's in the house right now. We got Luke Rowley. What's up, Luke? Good to see you today. Is it me or does Pat look a bit more jacked, says Karma? It's probably just you, my friend. Wendy says, on Apple Sport, gotta skip out for a minute. No worries, good luck with that. It's hit or miss sometimes, right? Flyrad says, woot, stoked, Pat. We is greater than me, that is right. Thank you, Adam, appreciate you for being here. Push-ups, let's go. What's with the jacked thing? I don't see it. Maybe... I think this shirt's just tighter, right? Like I finally washed this shirt, I'm getting all these new shirts for the live stream. And then when you wash them, they shrink a little bit, thus making you look a little bit bigger. So that's the secret for being jacked. That's tip number 1 today. If you want to look jacked, wear tight t-shirts. The song stays in my head all day, says Beth. Thank you so much for that. You're amazing. Pat looks #bruh. Welcome, everybody. Like I said, today we're going to talk about the top 5 biggest website mistakes. And also, I'm going to put some of you on the chopping block as well. For those of you who are here live, we're going to do some website reviews today. I don't know how many we're going to get through, but we're going to use these 5 mistakes as sort of a foundation for us to then go seek out people who might need a little bit of help. And then we can offer that help and everybody can learn at the same time. Does that sound like a good plan? Let me know what you think. Now, the other cool thing I want to share is a story from yesterday. In fact, this goes back to about a month ago. After the income stream here has started going live for about 30 days, I reached out to a friend of mine. Her name is Brittany Lynn, and she's a good friend. She's also a student of mine, and she's a PR expert. She helps people get their message out there into the world a little bit more, especially in traditional media and podcasting and all that sort of stuff. She's fantastic. So, I'm really stoked because we've been working together and she's been helping me pitch how to get on more television, how to get on more magazines and get written about a little bit more. And in fact, yesterday we had 3 different media related things happen. An interview for a newspaper, an interview for Good Morning Arizona, and then also for KTLA. And in fact, if you'd like, I'd be more than happy to share a clip from yesterday. And I'm very thankful that I've gone live for this many days because it's definitely prepared me for sort of this kind of situation. It was really fun. And the funny thing about the KTLA one is I thought it was going to be recorded and they were like, all right, Pat, you're going to be on live in about 1 minute with the hosts. And I was like, what? We're going to be live? And thankfully, obviously, I've gone live for a very long time now. And it was really fun. So I'd be more than happy to share that if you guys are interested. That'll give me a second to have some coffee here because started the coffee a little bit late this morning. And so I'll play that for you and we can comment on it. Now, the sound that comes from me is a little bit delayed, so the mouth won't match particularly, but it's kind of legit seeing, like, it's weird because this might be weird for you because, especially for those of you who've been here all 58 days or for many of these days, it's literally the same setup, the same shot that you're seeing. It just happens to be featured on a news channel, which is pretty cool. So let's play the clip, and then we're going to do some website reviews, and we're going to teach you these 5 things. So here is the clip. Here we go. Have fun.
We are talking about some practical tips for those who have been laid off and the coronavirus pandemic.
Yeah, Pat Flynn is an entrepreneur, best-selling author, and the founder of Smart Passive Income, a website to help other entrepreneurs. He joins us now live via Skype. Pat, good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks, Lou. Thanks, Glenn.
Okay, so you're speaking from experience. You were an architect before the 2008 recession, and you were laid off. Now you own a successful online business. How did you adapt?
Well, it wasn't easy, I'll tell you that. And my first reaction after getting let go was a bunch of different feelings, right? Like many of us are feeling today. Confusion, anger, moments of sadness, and that sort of thing. And it took me a while to understand that, well, in fact, most of my time in the beginning was spent on thinking things that I couldn't actually control. And it wasn't until I made that mental shift and started to understand, well, there are actually things that I can control. And thinking about this question here became really important to me. And that was, well, what does this make possible? I think a lot of people are going to come out of this much better, because they're seeing new opportunities that they didn't see before. And the layoff, even though it was tough for me, in fact, looking back, it became one of the best things that ever happened. Now, I did have to make some financial adjustments and other things like that. I've moved back in with my parents for a little bit, which I didn't want to do, but you kind of got to do what you got to do for a while. But I also saw that there were some business opportunities in front of me that were kind of always there, but I didn't really have time to do it. And many of us, of course, today do have time to explore new options.
Let's talk about one of the first things that someone can do after being laid off, or possibly if they want to look at an old passion that they may want to now step into.
Sure, absolutely. I think most of all, we have to focus on the mental game, because if we don't have a strong mental game, if we stay in that sort of dark place for a while, we're not going to have the sort of opportunities in front of us, that even though they're always there. So I think thinking about what you do have access to and what you can be grateful for every day is something that's really important to me, because although things are tough right now, there are still things that we can be grateful for. And that mental awareness, that mental health is really key. But you might have some skills or some stuff. I know a person, for example, a student of mine, she's a singer. And it's really interesting because this pandemic has created a lot of new business opportunities for people who never had these kinds of problems before. Highlighting parents, for example. Parents now have their kids at home all the time. They still have to work remotely. Many of them do. And we don't want to just shove an iPad in people's faces, right? So I know, or in the kids' faces all day. So the singer, this friend of mine, her name's Amy, she is now teaching kids how to sing, which is really amazing, and offering some time for the parents to have time to do their other thing. And it's just learning a new life skill. And she never really thought about doing that until this pandemic happened. And it's interesting because now these opportunities are existing. You might have an old hobby that you can then help somebody else learn. You perhaps have some skills from the job that you once had that another job that's still up and running could benefit from. There's a lot of opportunities. I think the biggest thing is to just seek those opportunities and also be open to ask. And nothing's going to happen unless you start asking around.
So you go on YouTube just about every day to answer people's questions. What are they asking you mostly?
All kinds of things. So I've been going live on YouTube every day on my channel to help people in need right now. It's something that I'm doing for free, and if you want to come and watch, you're totally welcome to do that. And I answer all types of questions from people who are like, I just got laid off, what do I do? So I share my experience and what I recommend for that. From how do I start a podcast today? Podcasting is a great opportunity for people. You can have your own show. How do I go live? How do I send an email out to people and help them with the business? How do I charge in this sort of environment? How do I hire a person or let them go in this situation? So all kinds of questions. Sometimes we have thematic days. Like today, for example, was about how to engage with your audience online. Tomorrow's about big website mistakes. Other times it's just open Q&A, free website reviews, doing what I can to help out and paying it forward, because I'm just feeling very grateful for having this opportunity to kind of come out of a layoff much better than before. And I want that for other people too.
As we wrap it up, where can we get your book, Let Go, for free?
Yeah, my book, Let Go, it's called Let Go because I was let go from a job, but also I had to let go of who I thought I was supposed to be in order to grow into this new space. You can find that at smartpassiveincome.com/toolkit. That book, you just download it, not going to ask you for any emails or anything. There's some other books and courses. We've given away over $3 million worth of stuff on that page, smartpassiveincome.com/toolkit.
All right, thank you, Pat. You can find Pat on Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and at smartpassiveincome.com.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Yay! That's the first time I've watched the whole clip all the way through. I'm like tearing up a little bit because that was a lot of fun to see. Some things that I know that I'm probably being a little bit overly critical about that I could have done a little bit better. But I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. There were some questions here about that interview. For example, were the questions sent to me ahead of time? In fact, we sent the questions to them ahead of time, which is really interesting. So we sort of knew the story we wanted to tell and the stories that I wanted to share. So we set them up to ask us questions, to bring those questions and answers to light. Yeah, that was really cool. I didn't know they were going to use B-roll. That was really interesting. They had produced and had some shots, as you saw, that you have all seen before with the wheel. I thought the wheel coming in was really cool. They also had the sort of side angle here like this when I was doing a demonstration on the phone. All the different shirts were popping. There was that dad joke shirt that was on there too, which was pretty cool. That was really fun. And I don't know, I just got really excited after that, and had a really good day. So thank you all, by the way, because that wouldn't have happened if you all weren't here. Yeah, it was just, that was really fun. And I have another one coming up on Monday, early in the morning, because it's for a news station in Austin. But yeah, I feel like, all this stuff that's happened in the past has sort of prepared me to get to where I am today. I saw Ern talking about like hosting my own talk show at one point in the future. I mean, I feel like I do that already, right? With Smart Passive Income, and perhaps adding the live and video component to that could be really interesting. I think the biggest struggle with growth for this particular channel and this particular live stream is just it's pretty niche right now, right? Even though it's more general and there's a lot of different kinds of people in here who could benefit from this information, I think it still doesn't speak to the mainstream yet, right? When I think of other people who I've mentioned before, like PE with Joe. Joe is a person in the UK who goes live every day, Monday to Friday, to do physical training workouts for families that are stuck at home with their kids, and it's very much geared toward kids, and that's very universal, right? I mean, he's had nearly 1 million people watching him live, and I think the most that anybody's watched live this income stream in the morning is around 400 at one point, and that's still great. Like, somebody gave me some perspective the other day. It was one of my mentors, James Schramko from Super Fast Business. He was like, Pat, I know you're bummed that FlynnCon's not going to be happening later in the year. FlynnCon is a live event that I put on myself, and we have about 500 entrepreneurs come in. And to think about all that's needed, not just, in terms of investment and time, but all the effort required from all different sorts of people, attendees included, to put on that event for 500 people at just one moment during the year. We've had way more than 500 people come in and come through the income stream. And even on YouTube videos, right? I'll post a YouTube video and a couple thousand people watch it within the first day, on average. That's way more than FlynnCon already. And so it makes me believe that, well, maybe this stuff is all happening and FlynnCon was canceled or delayed until next year for a purpose, so that I can serve the audience here on YouTube in this specific kind of way, spend that time and energy and money on equipment and stuff to come up with something and produce something that is on par, if not surpasses, those who are used to, and I've talked about this before, we're all on level playing field now, right? Like all the late night show hosts, all the daytime show hosts, we're all on the same playing field. We're all recording and creating information and going live from home. So why not use this opportunity to step up? And who knows what this will turn into. But I think I do need to be a little bit more general. An idea that I had the other day, actually, it was an idea that was given to me, I'm curious your thoughts, is to have not necessarily just daily themes, because today's theme, and I promise we're going to get into it in just a minute here, but and by the way, there were a couple super chats that came in that I saw. Hey, Archer, thank you for that. April, thank you so much for your support. And also, April, on Twitter, you and I don't even think we've corresponded, but I've seen those tweets, and thank you so much for the support there. But everything happens for a reason, as Stacy is saying. And I thought, I don't know. I'd love to go a little bit more general, but weekly, sort of like, hey, for this week, we're going to go 5 days straight, one after another, almost like a playlist or a series, like day one stacking on day two, maybe starting an idea literally live from scratch, and maybe taking somebody on that journey and having that person sort of show up every day to talk about the work that they've done and the struggles that they've gone through, and sort of more journey-like, right? Sort of like a series. I remember watching a lot of television when I was a kid, and I remember every once in a while there would be like a 3-day series, right, where you'd have to like watch the second and the third, or if you came in later, you'd have to go back to the first, and it wasn't just that one thing. It was sort of a series, so weekly going through something, and that could be packaged into a really nice starter series, for example, or packaged into a really nice sort of intermediate series for people who come in during that time, and it could perhaps keep them in a little bit longer. Just thinking out loud, I love thinking out loud with y'all. You see, every single time I come in here, I'm trying something new. Yesterday, I went straight into the content, and I got a lot of mixed reviews about that. I did get a lot of positive reviews from people watching the replay, right? So that was cool. But some people who were watching live were like, this just feels like a regular video. And then it got into the sort of community sort of conversation like we're having right now, which would be pretty cool. It's great seeing the evolution of the show. Thank you, Mark. Yeah, I mean, I have no idea where it's going to end up, but all I know is that the more I do it, the more consistent I am, the more that I can see what I can incrementally improve. And the more opportunity there will be for more people to find it, obviously, and the more opportunity for it to grow into something even much bigger, potentially. And I think that's key and important for everything from the YouTube channel that you have, or the podcast that you're hosting or want to host, or the website that you're creating. Speaking of website, let's get into that. Thank you for allowing me to share that. That was, hopefully it didn't come across as a look how awesome I am moment. It's more of a, proud moment that we can all celebrate, because again, you guys are the reason why that happened. And we talked about the income stream, and you saw different clips. Man, so cool. Just, bruh. Man, you gotta like, when you get wins, you gotta appreciate them. You gotta you gotta celebrate, right? I think that's one thing that I struggle with over the years, is me being a 3 on the Enneagram and an overachiever and a people pleaser. I like pleasing other people before often myself. And one of my struggles is, before I even have a chance to celebrate, I'm often moving on to the next thing. Is anybody else like that too? I'm very much like that as well. Let me know in the chat. Stick an emoji in there or something if that's you, or put your hand up. I'm definitely somebody who, even if we achieve a win, I don't celebrate. I'm already moving on to the next thing. And I think it's important to celebrate. I think it's important to, start to get into that habit of being grateful for the things that you personally do achieve. And I think a lot of it was because I didn't want to be big-headed, but also I think it's important to celebrate. And if you could celebrate publicly, I think you can bring a crowd along with you. And you can almost, and like with many of the people here watching right now, you can almost win together, right? We win together. And I think that's really cool. So thank you. And Brittany's in the house, by the way. Brittany, Lynn, thank you so much for that. I shared the clip earlier. I don't know if you saw, but yeah, it's gonna be awesome. See, we're all, and I think that's just a very entrepreneurial thing, right? Like, hey, we can't celebrate too long because what if it all goes bad? Or, hey, there's this new opportunity. Let's go into that now. Let's not waste any time. I think you can benefit from, almost like when you're studying, right? Sometimes when you're studying, sleep is the best thing you can do. Although counterintuitively, you want to study and cram and do those late night study sessions when that would actually work against you. Gift Biz Unwrapped, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. Sue with the $10 super chat. Enneagram 3 here, definitely Enneagram 3. A lot of 3s in the house, most likely. A lot of 8s I found are entrepreneurs as well. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about the Enneagram scale. An 8 is a challenger. A 3 is a performer, a people pleaser, somebody who will feel worthiness by sharing with others. 6 here says Bert. My wife is a 6, in fact. So Bert, you don't have, you have very, very big loyalty to others. And you, when people get into your circle, like you can't help but, be magnetically attracted to you. But you might push other people away or give, not allow them into your circle right away. But loyalty is your strength. And that's key too as well. Anyway, a lot of fun stuff. Let's do some website reviews. And while we do this, I'm going to share these 5 tips along the way. So this isn't going to be restructured into a video that I'll pop out later. I'll probably do a secondary video to talk about these topics, and this will definitely inspire that. But put in your website into the chat, and if you can do it in a creative way that doesn't allow YouTube to snatch it from me, meaning you can't just pop in your URL. You have to say something like, type it out in a way, type out the dot in .com or something like that, just so it comes through. It might not even come through in the chat, but I see them and I get to approve them. But what I want to do is do it for the gram. I like that, an Enneagram podcast. I love that name. Thank you so much for that. Do it for the gram. Cool. So pop in your website. I'm going to write down a few, and then I'll just kind of select at random. And eventually we're going to go into those websites and see if we are or are not making these mistakes. And again, remember, I'm pointing out these mistakes, so don't be mad if I'm like, hey, you're doing that thing that I said not to do. This is a learning experience. This is how we grow. We have to put ourselves on the line every once in a while and take these bolder risks. So let me write some of these down. They're starting to come through. And let me play some music while I write these things down. I got a few, which should give us a good start. So thank you all for that. Roast my site, says Luke. I like it. Dude, roasting. Roast your site to get the most megabyte? No, that's not good. That's not good. What is he writing down? I'm writing down websites that I'm going to review. And you'll find out who these are in just a minute. By the way, big thanks again to Buzzsprout for sponsoring today's podcast. Stick around to the end because we're going to give away a Samson Q2U microphone to one lucky commenter here. So make sure to chat. Don't spam though. Just like actually add value to the chat if you can, or just respond sort of naturally. Don't just put every word in a sentence into a different line so you have more of a chance. But Buzzsprout is a podcast host that I use. I absolutely love them. They have some really cool tools built into their podcast hosting platform. Like when you upload your audio, they'll actually help you master that audio using their magic mixer, which is really cool. And I really love that. So thanks to Buzzsprout. Once again, if you go to smartpassiveincome.com/Buzzsprout, that's where you can get 33% additional time added to your plan. That is an affiliate link as well. So I get a little bit of a kickback as a result, just being honest with you all the time. But you get more time added on at no extra cost to you. And we're going to give away a microphone thanks to Buzzsprout at the end of the show today. Thank you so much. How do you know a dad joke is a dad joke? Because it's bad, right? Cringeworthy. But those can be good too, right? Okay, so here are the 5 website mistakes. And then I want you all to just sort of, absorb these. And then when we go into these websites, I want you to almost play along as if you are reviewing these channels as well. Martin, thank you so much. Got lost in the woods. Well, I'm glad you made it back, my friend. Were you looking for some sort of natural things to put into your anyway? I don't know where I was going. I was trying to relate it back to your stuff, but I'm focused on these mistakes right now. Okay, so website mistakes that people are making. Number 1, it's not clear what it's about right away. You go to the website and you're like, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to get here. I don't know necessarily why I need to stick around. And that's the really important component of this, right? You have about 7 to 10 seconds to make a first impression and really hook people in. So 7 to 10 seconds, as soon as a person comes on the webpage, without having to scroll, can I understand exactly who this is for and what I'm going to get out of it, right? Who is this for and what am I going to get out of it? Forest bathing, yes. Looking for berries, cool. Number 2, so that was number 1, not clear about what it's about and who it's for. Number 2, I arrive and I'm not sure what you want me to do first. It's almost just like hey, here's all the stuff, good luck. Like, I'm not gonna help you find your way through or find out what you should start with, right? So I want you, when I visit your website, to help me know what you want me to do first. And this is really beneficial because number 1, people are gonna be, if you've gotten them hooked with the tagline and they know why they're there, likely they're going to want to know what the best thing or the most important thing is to do. But the trouble is that blogs in particular are often just a running archive of stuff that was written in a chronological order, but not necessarily in the same order that a person should consume them. So I want to look for, are you pointing me in a direction in terms of where to start or how I might begin to engage with you? If the primary call to action is, for example, wanting to get on a call with you, how are you helping me lead into that particular call to action? I want to know what you want me to do. Help guide me, walk me through this process. Wayfinding, navigation through a website, really important. But even though there might be some great categories and great menu items in there, how do I know what I want to do first? You can't necessarily rely on a person to do what it is you want them to do without you legitimately and just straight up telling them exactly what you want to do, right? So number 2, what do you want me to do? How do you want me to go through this website? What's the experience that you want to create for me here? And ultimately, how can you continue to help me? Number 3, who am I learning from? And this was a big mistake that I made when I first started out. I didn't realize the power of having yourself show up. Now, that being said, you don't have to personally show up on your website in order for it to work. It does help because people like to know the person on the other end. This is why the tagline and the hook is really important, because you can get through that. You don't have to show up. You don't have to put your face on there. A brand can have a personality. But the point is there some person or some personality I can connect to on this website? How will I know that I can connect with this person or this website versus the other people or websites that are out there that are talking about very similar things? What is the relatable factor here, right? Maybe it's coming from a position of expertise, in which case, well, then that better be known, and there should be credentials and proof that, hey, I have all this experience and that's how it can help you, and that's something that stands out from everybody else. Or perhaps you're going through the journey with them. Hey, I'm in debt and you're in debt too, but I'm doing everything I can to get out of it. Follow me on this journey, aka Man versus Debt. And Adam Baker, who's a good friend of mine, although he was in debt, was building a giant audience of other people who were also in debt and sharing his journey along the way. And it was very relatable, right? Because you got to understand that, wow, this person is doing the exact same thing and is in the exact same position that I'm in. So the connection, the relatability, how is that? Number 4, asking for the email too quickly, right? So I'm going to a website, and before I even understand or have a chance to know what it's about or what it can do to serve me, it's like, boom, subscribe here so I can send you this more of this stuff. Pop-ups do work. They do work. However, is it worth it? Are you collecting people who perhaps are not qualified yet, or perhaps collecting emails from people who don't even necessarily know what you're about yet? Are those the kinds of leads that you want? Or would you much rather have a person go, oh, this is exactly what I was looking for. Yes, this is all the best stuff. Where can I subscribe to make sure I never miss this information again, right? And then number 5, along the same lines as with email is so important, right? This is why 2 tips here are related to email. So not collecting these emails too quickly, but number 5, not sharing enough incentive to subscribe. People don't wake up in the morning and go, yay, I want more emails. I can't wait to subscribe to more emails and get more emails in my inbox. Nobody wants that. People want to open the emails and see them when they know what they're going to get on the other end is worth their time and effort. So I need some selling into that subscription, right? Too often I see people go, sign up here for my newsletter, or they don't put any information at all. It's just a first name and then email box. And it's like, okay, well, what am I getting on the other end of this? Why should I even consider doing this? So I want to see some incentive related to that, right? So let's see if there are, Christina says ads, too many ads. Ads are definitely something that can work against you. In fact, for a couple of reasons. Number 1, it could take away prime real estate that you might use for some other stuff that can help with some of these tips that we've talked about already. Number 2, an ad takes people away from your website, right? It's like, hey, thanks for coming. And the big effort that you've made to have people arrive, it's like, okay, awesome. Let me send you away. Now, ads can be used for good. Definitely make sure that if there's an ad, especially if it's one that you sort of work together with that sponsor or advertiser, that it opens up a new page, right? A new tab, not on the same page. If you have links, external links from your website, always have them open to a new tab. If it's your own website, generally speaking, it should be always open on the same page, unless it's a sort of side sort of pathway you want to give people, you want to show people, right? So if you're writing an article, for example, and you say, by the way, if you want to check out this other article, to click here, it opens on a new tab, but you also keep people where they were. It really is about the experience. Karma Cashflow with the $5. Thank you, Karma. Appreciate you, my friend. Jonathan as well with the $5 super chat. These super chats are being donated to Project Cure this month to help people who are in the medical field get what they need. And thanks for all the thumbs up, everybody. I appreciate you. Great conversation happening in the chat right now. Let's go into it. I think I broke 4 out of the 5. Says Wake Up Learn. Hey, this is why we do this now. And again, these are best practices. If you're just starting out, you might be like, well, do I have to have all 5 of these things before I even get my website up? No. Bruh. You are doing so well if you have a website up and you've at least gotten started. I mean, you're doing better than 90% of the people out there who are like, I wish I had something up online that I could do something with. Yes, it might not be the best thing right now, but this is why you take an iterative approach. Hey, you got the website up, fantastic. Let's start to tackle these things one at a time, right? So as we are going through this and as we go through these websites that we're about to go to, we need to understand that you don't have to change everything and you don't have to do all these things all at once. Pick the one that might be easiest for you to sort of fix or update and then go from there, right? That's the big thing here. And I think, again, all of us being entrepreneurs or soon to be entrepreneurs, we want to do all the things all at once, all at the same time. And we don't want to do that, okay? We don't want to do that. Okay, so let's go to the first website and let's roast them. Just kidding. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna go with soulcollectiveyyc.com. So, rule number 1, what is this about, right? Is there some sort of tagline or way or something for me to know exactly what this is for, or else most people who come in here are gonna bounce, and bounce is actually the technical term for a person coming to your website, and depending on what analytics tool you use, it might be 10 seconds, 30 seconds. If they leave within that time, that counts as a bounce. And we don't want people to bounce. We want people to stick around. We want people to open up other parts of the website. So I'm seeing here, Soul Collective as the logo. This is a really cool logo, by the way. I really like just sort of the feeling of it. I don't even know what it means exactly, but I like that. Welcome to Soul Collective with an eye staring me in the face, going from in to out. Now, I haven't scrolled yet, and I don't really know exactly what this is about. So we could use a little bit more work there. I can imagine it could say, welcome to Soul Collective, sort of across the top here. It's okay to say like, hey, welcome, right? Welcome in. It's almost like, imagine this is your house, right? If this is your house and somebody knocked on the door and you opened and you said, welcome. No, I didn't freeze. This is like the legit feeling that you're offering to people when you just say welcome and you don't really point them in the right direction or don't tell them more about what it is you're doing, right? Instead of, hey, welcome to my house. We've had this house for, hey, my name's Pat. I help people like you, and, hey, let me take you inside. Like, come have a seat. Would you like anything to drink? Here's what I'd love to help you with, right? The website design looks really great. It's very clean. It's very minimal. I would imagine that with the right words in the right places, you'd be able to do some really powerful things here. There are some things that definitely have me that are definitely positive about this, right? Like this image here is okay. It makes me believe that this is tailored specifically for women, just because of the image back there. So if that is your target market, that's good. The daily 15 is really interesting to me. I don't know what that is, but I want to click on that just because I'm like, daily 15, what is that? Like 15 push-ups a day, or am I meditating for 15 minutes a day? I'm not quite sure. Workshops, Q&A, home services. Again, the website's beautifully designed, but I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. Second thing is, well, what do you want me to do first? Maybe I can scroll down a little bit. Going from in and out, collective advisor, collective healing, collective knowing, great imagery, great photography, find your way, find your heart, know your purpose, testimonials. Again, what am I going to get after working with you, Sarah? Now, here's a good thing. You're talking a little bit about who's on the other end. So we got number 3 down, right? Here we are. My name is Sarah. This is what I do for you. Again, very, very beautiful imagery, beautiful photography. Just a few words that get thrown around about me: calm, helpful, warm, trustworthy, versatile, honest. I'm an Aries. I like the language here. Like, it's very, like, I can connect with you, right? It's not like Sarah is a 5-year veteran of XYZ and she helps XYZ. This is like you chatting with the person on the other end, and I like that. I can get a sense of who it is you are and the kind of person that you are, and I like it's a very unique style, such that if a person vibes with it, I mean, they're in right away, right? Versus sometimes people try to get more general and are afraid of speaking the way that they are on their website. And I think it's important to write like you talk. A lot of times we feel a website has to be treated like an English essay that has 5 paragraphs with an introduction, 3 supporting paragraphs, and then a conclusion. That's a little bit too structured, a little bit too much framework. And oftentimes in those essays, you don't even know who's written them. I would guarantee that if you read somebody's essay, it's just going to sound like the way that the English teacher said it was supposed to be, versus, oh, that must be Pat Flynn's writing, right? You need that unique style, and you have that here, and you got that down really well. So that's really great. Number 4, asking for email. I don't know if you are collecting emails at all, in fact. So I can see more info, request. maybe on your Instagram. Let's see. I'd imagine that a page like this could do very well on Instagram. I'm a conscious consultant. We all need guidance, coaching, and someone who believes in us to grow. I am yours. Break free of your story and grow. Wow. Okay. That's pulling me in, but that's not on your website. That's on your Instagram page. That's pulling me in a lot stronger. A conscious consultant. I mean, that could even live up here or right down here, right? This is what I would imagine you're trying to do to portray what it is that you do. But it's not doing the job right now. These are great words, but we need to be a lot more clear like you are here on your Instagram. I'm sorry, I'm not sharing my screen. But this is really beautiful here, right? I help guide you and coach you to become somebody that you can believe in, or whatever it might be. Break free of your story and grow into somebody new. I'm here to help you, right? And then you have your link tree here. This daily 15 seems really interesting. Oh, and I was just guessing that it was meditation, but that is it. So this is really cool. This should be highlighted. This should be like the first thing I should do. Hey, I'd love to give you a free 15-day meditation session. And here's the daily 15. I'm hosting free live daily meditations. See, this was something that, was this on the homepage at all? This is really great. This is your email incentive, your email opt-in. I don't see the 15 here mentioned in any place. And I would imagine that would be a really strong way to leave a really great first impression, to have people get to know you and your voice. And I really love that. I kind of want to click play on one of these and see what it's like.
It really fills my bucket. So thank you for being here with me. I thought it was important to, as everybody's joining us here, talk for a minute about something I was reminded of.
You go into a story. I love that. You have a little bit of flavor in your audio. That's really great. That's really great. I think we could do more with selling people into why they need to subscribe here. You don't give you just kind of have it here. Subscribe below so that I can send you these directly to your inbox every single day, and you can start the day a little bit more stress-free, and you can begin to grow into who I know you were meant to be, right? So something of that nature. Cool. Not bad. We need a little bit of work on connecting with the person as soon as they arrive here. And a lot of that messaging that I saw on your Instagram page could lend itself to be up on here as well. Let's definitely make the Power 15 or the Daily 15, as you say, a lot more prominent, sell more into that. And that would be a great way for you to start building a relationship with people who would then want to come back and do a lot more. Cool. So hopefully that was helpful. That's great. Good job. Hopefully this is helpful for everybody else too. If it is, let me know. And what was your biggest takeaway from this person's, from Sarah's website review here? What was the biggest thing that you feel could be her biggest opportunity? And perhaps where is your biggest opportunity now that you've learned after watching this? You know, the one thing about these coffee mugs, I usually have like an aluminum one that's sort of keeping it warm all the time. It gets cold fast. Chicago, by the way. Love Chicago. I really like the site and the idea of the Daily 15. Yes, so helpful. Fantastic. It's helpful to have those 5 criteria. We can now use this to self-evaluate and do peer reviews. Yeah, this is great. I mean, I might turn this into a video like how to conduct a website audit in 10 minutes or something like that. So that you can get X, Y, Z. And again, I always add the benefit in there, right? So what's the benefit of coming to this webpage? Okay, so let's remove those from the from my tabs, and let's go into the next one. All right, here we go. Tailor-Fit Wellness from Francis Taylor. Thank you for allowing me to come in here and share what I can to help you. So, a few things. Francis Taylor, yoga, anatomy, Pilates, personal training, feel better in your skin. Now we're getting somewhere. Very clear about what I can get here. I think it could go perhaps one step further, whether it's here or at least somewhere on the webpage. At least you've gotten me into what am I doing here and if this is for me, right? So there's a couple ways to connect a little bit more deeply with the person, even beyond just here's what I do and here's the ultimate goal. Feel better in your skin. You can have it be specific to a certain demographic, right? So if you know, for example, that this is for women, one way to connect even more deeply and have a person go, yes, this is for me, could be to either through directly words or more images, have it be more tailored to women. Perhaps it's also more about the benefit or the problem. You can focus on those a little bit more, right? So saying things like, you know, stress every day, no more, or something like that. That's not as good. But again, I'm being nitpicky here because this is pretty darn good in terms of, well, what is this website about and what am I going to get as a result of this? You'll feel better in your skin. But that also could be taken one step further. What does feel better in your skin actually mean? It doesn't have to necessarily show up in terms of what that answer is here on the tagline, but it could show up and should show up here in the preceding spaces of the website. Love this image, by the way. It's a little bit blurry. I'm wondering if there's it's a little bit blurry, and I don't necessarily know if you need the black border because it definitely that's the thing that is definitely drawing my eye in. Also, in addition, one piece of advice is you'll notice here that this is written in third person, and we've talked about that already. It's interesting, right? Because it's like Francis has 28 years of experience, but then down here it says information I can help you with. So you want to pick either one or the other. You never want to flip-flop between either. But I would imagine, especially if it's your name and if it's you in the image, you want to make sure it's first person so that you in the image is speaking directly to the person on the other end. So just be careful of the pros and of the first person to third person sort of situation there. Also, when it comes to large bodies of paragraph, we want to be careful about having such a large body of paragraph without any breaks or breathing space. Essentially, this could probably be broken down into 4 paragraphs, in fact. I would say online, and especially in emails, no more than 2 or 3 sentences per paragraph. It's just so much easier to read down a page when it's broken up. It's much more helpful on the eye. It's easier to keep track of where you are. There's also some spacing issues here with the image being very close to the wording here, and that's not a huge deal. Again, I'm being a little bit nitpicky. And although this website isn't quite as sort of styled as the other one, I'm still a little bit more connected to this one sooner because of just some of the words up there and some of the imagery which relates to those words, right? But we can break up this paragraph a little bit, and also the gray text. It might be a little bit too gray. It's definitely I think it could benefit from either 1 point larger in font or a darker text. It just hurts my eyes, and I think part of it's also because it's just one giant paragraph as well. Get wellness tips delivered right to your inbox. Name, last name, email, submit. We need to do a better job of selling into that. What kind of wellness tips? Give me a testimonial to show that these things are useful. Share with me a tip example, something visual to go along with that, right? What kind of wellness tips? How often are you going to send me these emails? I think these are really important questions that people often ask themselves and will talk themselves out of doing something like this. So we need to sell a little bit better into that. It's okay that it's on your homepage. In fact, that's really great. But I think that we can do a better job of that. Click here to sign up for online class. Cool. I'm going to click on this and see how well of a job you get me. Thank you so much for the super chats, by the way. Rafal and Andrew, that's awesome. Okay, so you do classes live, which is really cool. Request link. All classes are $20 payable via Venmo. And I like that. You just sort of like, it's not like a, hey, let's create this landing page. Let's create this checkout process. It's just like a simple, hey, Venmo, I'll make this happen for you. I like that better than not doing this at all. And perhaps maybe in the future, you could go to the point where there is actually a checkout process with testimonials and things like that. I also want to look for testimonials. Whenever you're selling something, you need to share proof that these things are actually helpful because people online always default to doubt. So what are we doing here to prove that this is actually a real thing, that this is going to help people? And I do not see testimonials here. And again, the paragraphs here are quite large and are hurtful in the eyes. So just be careful about that. The imagery is great. I love that. I like this sort of border, this black border here that I see. That's kind of cool and very, very much the style versus what I saw on the homepage. I think on the homepage I saw just like a very dark border here. Yeah, and that's I don't know, again, being very nitpicky. But click here to get your online class. request link. I'm curious. I've never seen that before in terms of a call to action. Request link. So that is, I imagine, a link to perhaps a Zoom call. Oh, and this just opens up an email. Okay. That's interesting. So all classes are $20 payable via Venmo. Request link. Again, we're not using a bunch of crazy tools to make this happen, but you are making it work. I would imagine that, you know, and in fact, I've seen a lot of people. Gosh, who is it? There's a person on Instagram. I'm gonna pull up his channel. His name is like Xavi, Xavi, Xavi Ablab. So this is probably the most successful person I know using Instagram for the benefit of their personal fitness program. And they sell a $97 diet fitness guide. I've actually purchased it from this person before just because I was curious about his process, in fact. So I'm going to go to Instagram.com/Xavi_Ablab. And I know this isn't on a website, but this person, look how ripped he is. Anyway, he shares a whole bunch of different sorts of things, right, related to fitness and workouts, but he always has the same call to action, right? So here he goes, oh, that one's in Spanish. Actually, he has it both in Spanish and in English here. For information on my carb cycling diet program, either leave your email below without the .com part, as IG won't let me see it, DM your email for the more private people, or just email me. Like, it's not the best, most sophisticated way to grow a business. It's to just literally ask for an email and deal with people individually from there. However, it works. I mean, look at the comments here. Email. These are all people that are reaching out to him to get his carb cycling system, or whatever it's called. So this here isn't terrible. Oftentimes, again, like I said, we want to find the most sophisticated ways to do things, and sometimes we just need to make things simple, right? So instead of request link for each of these different days, I think it might be even more beneficial to simplify this even more. Fill out the form below, and I'll reply within a couple hours to help you find the best class that works for you, for example, right? And that way you can sort of work individually with people and have a conversation. The reason why this is working on that other person's Instagram is simply because he's sharing some value already and then asking for an email, and then it's the direct messages where people are more comfortable having conversations, even outside of email, that are working really well to grow his stuff. I mean, every single person who sends an email it's basically $97 for him, which is pretty amazing. And it's a personal email that he replies back with, and he even asks for some information about you and your goals, and then we'll offer the solution. And it's the same solution. He just tells you different ways to use it based on where you're at. So that could be a really interesting way to potentially, Taylor, or Francis, to get some interaction with people, either through email first or through Instagram or Facebook or what have you, before you actually make the ask, right? It's my primitive way, didn't know how to do it any other way. Yeah, and that's okay. That's totally okay. Again, I think that's fine. Is it working for you? If not, then the sort of Xavi Hernandez way might be a little bit better, because you'd be able to have a direct interaction with somebody who can then sort of have a DM with you and go, okay, well, which class is right for me? Oh, here is the one that I would recommend. And if you'd like to join, just I'll send you the link after you pay me via Venmo. Here's my Venmo link, and you can go from there. What I am missing, though, are some testimonials. We want to see some testimonials here, too. Let's see. Going back to the website stuff. Again, we're good. We're pretty good on what this is about right away. Not quite sure what you want to do first. I think we're 50-50 there, right? You want people to sign up for the online class. And I'm curious, like, you could probably share this call to action a few times, because if I'm scrolling down this page, and again, I think that we could have some more information about the benefit of yoga, the benefit of Pilates for a person, and what potentially would happen if they didn't take advantage of this, right? So selling, it's hard because we aren't naturally great at selling ourselves. We often take that stance of, well, we don't want to seem too selly, but you do have to give people reason to take action, to go further into the website, and I think that could work. So you'll try it, cool. So the proper homepage, I would imagine, would be, I don't think you necessarily even have to change the top here. I would go down a little bit more and share more information about the benefit of Pilates and why they're in the right place, speaking to their ultimate goals, perhaps the problems that they have. Maybe it's pain, maybe it's wanting to live a little bit more stress-free, maybe it's health or diet or fitness related. And then I would go into who it is you are, some proof about other people who have worked with you. Perhaps if you've have images of you leading these classes, that might be really interesting as well. A lot of the images are just sort of you, which again are beautiful images, but perhaps there are some ways that we can show proof that, hey, I can be one of these students as well, some testimonials too, and then sell people into the tips and the email subscription a little bit more sort of strongly, if you will. It's cool that you have a podcast as well for teachers and advanced students. Oh, launching soon, cool. So there might be a way for you to even collect an email list here to see who is interested in getting the podcast. Maybe they get early access to it. Maybe they get first notification, in which case when you do launch the show, now you're going to have a whole bunch of people who are really excited, who are already looking for it too. Schedule, I imagine, yeah, that's your classes, videos. Very cool. Let's check out your YouTube channel.
Welcome, Francis here. I want to give you a few tips to help you out if you're having problems with your wrists in wheel pose.
Cool, very clear, straight to the point. I love that. Cool. So it all works together. Your website hosts some of the videos. Your videos hopefully points back to the website, all that sort of stuff. Well, cool. Question here from With All My Sweetness. Great name, by the way. What would be the appropriate etiquette regarding testimonials? I can imagine asking people for their input and getting permission on what about if they posted them on their platforms. What would be the appropriate etiquette regarding testimonials? I can imagine asking people for their input and getting permission, but what about if they posted them on their platforms? It's always best to get permission when you're just not sure. However, if it's in a public forum, like on a Facebook page, like within a public Facebook arena, or within, for example, Twitter or Instagram, if somebody's posted something about you, then that's totally worth embedding and sharing. They've shared it with the public. Likely you're even doing them a benefit by driving more eyeballs onto their accounts. However, if it's a student of yours, like I would just definitely ask for permission first. And I wouldn't just say like, hey, tell me what you think. I would set it up with questions like, well, what were your expectations coming in and what did you get out of this? Or how would you recommend this to a friend? That's always a great one, because then they're speaking to the person who's reading the testimonial, not just saying like, yeah, Francis was great. I really enjoyed the class. It's very generic, versus probably the biggest thing I learned working with Francis was blank, right? So using specific questions like that, what's the number one best thing that came out of this for you? Boom, that becomes a testimonial. And then when possible, trying to get a video testimonial as well. That often works really well too. Cool. Let's go to the final website that we're going to review today here in the final 7 minutes, and then we're going to do the giveaway for the microphone. And again, thank you for sticking with me today. The cool and also hard thing about these website reviews is honestly, I never know what's going to happen. Never know what's going to happen. And by the way, just Samson, thanks for that email. I don't use that email address anyway, so it's all good. Cool. Frugal family home. I believe home cooking can be simple. Here it is. I believe home cooking can be simple. Cooking good food for your family doesn't have to take all day or cost a lot of money. Read more. Cool. Save time and money in the kitchen and beyond. Frugal family home. Very clear. Probably the most clear that we've seen. Imagery that helps support that as well. I'm curious if, is that you cutting this? And would we benefit more by seeing your face and maybe you cooking for your family versus, I don't know if you are comfortable showing up. And many times, again, a lot of people aren't, and that's okay. Hey, there you are, Shelly. I help busy moms cut the junk and cook more whole food meals without spending all day in the kitchen. That's fantastic. This is, to me, a better tagline than what we saw up here. I believe home cooking can be simple. I think these should be reversed, honestly. Because now I'm like, busy mom, I'm a busy mom. I'm in the right spot, right? I had to scroll down to see that. Plus, I see you. Cooking good food for your family doesn't have to take all day or cost a lot of money. That's partway there. It's not, I think it could go one step further, and I think the one step further is down here already, right? This is what I connected with most. For those of you in the chat, let me know if you agree with that. I help busy moms cut the junk, or could even be I help busy moms like you cut the junk and cook more whole food meals without spending all day in the kitchen. That's love. I love that. That's great. This is a great image of you as well. I would love to see an image of you in relation to this topic, however, like you cooking or you cutting or something like that, right? That's just a little bit more, another small, easy way to connect with the people who are here, right? Maybe a image that shows how busy of a mom you are, right? So I can go, oh my gosh, Shelly has 3 kids. I only have 2. If she can do it, then I can do it too, right? Or I don't know how many kids you might have, but that would be really cool. Number 1, planning. Number 2, strategic shopping. Number 3, simple meals. Number 4, prep ahead. Cool. I think we could set this part up with a little bit of a paragraph or something that says, here's my 4-step process, proprietary process, right? Or, I'll teach you my 4-step simple home cooking process. Step 1, planning. Step 2, strategic shopping. Step 3, simple meals. Step 4, prep ahead. We need to sort of preface this a little bit. And that could just be right under here, which would give it a nice, even sort of new starting point. But I like how you've broken it down. It's really important to have like a process that people can follow, especially with something like this. Get the Frugal Pantry Guide. When you join the Frugal Family Home Community, you'll get tried and true recipes delivered to your inbox with cooking and meal prep tips to help you save time and money. I love how everything here is about helping you save time and money. You've nailed exactly what the problem is, right? Spending money, too much time. You've nailed that. It's there with your email sign up. You are selling this really, really well. I want to even go and sign up for that. So that's really great. The ad on the bottom, I'm totally okay with that. It says Sephora. I understand it. It's probably through something like Ad Thrives or Google AdSense or something. And you need to make money, right? And I think having it down there is totally okay. You get paid even per impression. So at least it's not up top. But that's not bad. And that's showing up probably because my wife uses the same IP address. And there's Lowe's because I looked at Lowe's the other day. My wife, Sephora, yes. Let's see. Wake Up Learn, awesome session. Thank you so much. Popular posts you want to read. This is another great thing. So when I go and I see a menu of items at a restaurant, I want to know what are the most popular or chef recommended items, right? And here we are sharing that here on the website too. 7, and you have these really nice Pinterest style images to go along with them that likely your target audience is used to. 7 frugal dinner ideas under $1 per serving. Okay, that's great. I don't know why these aren't the same length. I would just adjust that a little bit. Maybe there could be even more. I would even have 6 of them, 3 on top of another 3. Join my Instagram, cool. This is like, I don't see blogs right here on your homepage. So you have more room to share more of these things. Also these steps, I'm wondering, are these clickable at all? Does this take me to perhaps, no, these aren't clickable. This is a large piece of real estate that's doing some really good things here. You could benefit by having either a call to action right after that, and you do with the email, but I'm wondering, like, is this a process? Is this a course that you teach? I'm not quite sure. Or if it just takes you to the blog, click here to read the blog where you can learn all these steps and more. For example, like this is a perfect place that you've set up that is clear. Let's move people on to the next step. Read more, let's see. Where does this take you? You want to cut back on junk food and eat more real food. You love the idea. Good. I love how you're speaking directly to me. You've, like I said, nailed who your audience is. Look at this. I've started reading your website. Here we got some testimonials from Tracy, Leslie. Awesome. Imagine, join the community. My story. How can I help? Join the community. Okay, great. So we want people to sign up to the email. That seems to be the number one thing you want people to do. That's great. Let's go back to the homepage. Read more. Okay, not bad. Not bad at all. As far as advice, I think that the most important thing is we can go even a little bit further of connecting you, your personality, and your goals with the audience even before scrolling down. Again, this part down here was the part that I resonated with the most, Shelly. Let's click on your About page a little bit more too. Welcome to Frugal Family Home. You want to use a different image than the one that people saw you on before. If you use the same image everywhere, then it can start to seem like, well, you're kind of just using the same boilerplate sort of images. Try to use new images in different places, right? So that it just continues to capture people's attention and keep people going. A bit about me, my story, great. Love that you're telling a story there. And then you get into, features, where you were featured in. Great. The one thing missing on this About page is getting people to be reminded about what you can teach them, and then what would the next steps be from here, right? So they've read your About page. They're even more warm, even more excited to work with you. Let's get them back. Put your email list opt-in form on here. I guarantee you're going to get more emails here on your About page. They're very warm on this page. And then secondly, tell them where to go next. Where do you want people to start, right? And that's the other thing that I think would be interesting. Let's click on Save Money. See Money tips, budgeting tips, cool. So you have these sort of like broken down into different categories. Simple living. The only thing is like there's probably so much content here. I don't know necessarily where to start. So a start here page, or for brand new people to the website, where would you want them to go first? What would you want them to read first? And then again, the call to action to subscribe to the list if they hadn't already. So great job, Shelly. That was really amazing. We're at the top of the hour now. We're gonna do a giveaway. Let's do a giveaway. So the way this is gonna work is I'm gonna go to this channel here. I'm gonna put on the music. I'm gonna scroll through the comments, and I'm gonna select somebody at random to win a Samson Q2U microphone. Here we go. Thanks so much, Corey, for that super chat too, by the way. Here we go. So you'll see my cursor there. Scroll up and down, and wherever we land, that's the winner. So you'll see the cursor there. Let's scroll down again. And I'm going to stop right there. So that is Orly. Orly, thank you so much for being a part of the show here. Send me an email to pat@patflynn.com. You won a microphone that Buzzsprout can send to you. Big thanks to the sponsor today, Buzzsprout. You are amazing, and you're amazing too. So pat@patflynn.com. Congratulations, Orly, and I'm looking forward to sending that to you. So again, everybody, thank you so much for being here today. This camera's on right now. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Great to share that KTLA clip with you. Thank you for helping make that happen. And here's to you and your success. Good luck on your websites. Hopefully this structure is helpful for you, and you can take this and implement it for your own website too. And also, when you visit websites from now on, consider those 5 things and see, well, are they even doing the right thing? And hopefully you can improve your stuff always too. So Team Flynn, you're amazing. Thank you so much. Team Flynn for the win. I'll see you tomorrow, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. It's Casual Friday. We're going to have some fun. We're going to bring out some surprises. Make sure you come in 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, right here, patflynn.com/theincomestream. I will see you there tomorrow. And as always, cheers, take care, and Team Flynn for the win. Here we go.
This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream, all while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
Great job, everybody. Day 59 tomorrow. We're almost 60 days into this, 2 months straight. Thanks for helping me get up in the morning. Thanks for helping me deliver value to you. Thanks for taking action on the things we talk about here. Thanks for showing up every day. Peace out, y'all.
Bruh.